How is everyone doing today? It is September 11th of 2021. I'm going to throw this in here really quick. These are the two major types of fertilizer we use to keep our garden going through pretty much all of August and September. We'll alternate weekends. What we do is we put Epsom salt on 1 week. For anybody who doesn't know, Epsom salt is magnesium sulfate. It is 100% organic and found in nature naturally. So even though a lot of people might not think this is organic, it is 100% organic, and it's excellent on the yard. The three things that come with fertilizers is NPK. This is nitrogen. The P stands for phosphorus, and then the K stands for potassium. So this right here will provide a lot of the phosphorus, the second letter, the P, and the NPK in the yard, and it helps plants uptake minerals. Sometimes what they're having an issue with is they've used up all the easily absorbed, readily accessible vitamins and minerals and stuff that they need in the soil, and this stuff will help it break down a little bit better and help them uptake. Really hard stuff to overuse because it's called Epsom salt. A lot of people might think that the salt is actually dangerous or maybe not organic, but it is organic. Epsom comes from, I believe, a European lake a long time ago, where they would collect the salts from the lake actually. Because there was a high content of it, and it was kind of named for the area, maybe the town or the lake where it came from. But Epsom is from a lake where it was originally a long time ago gotten a lot of. This is the fish fertilizer. We also use this in alternating weekends. The 5 on it means it's high in nitrogen. So nitrogen is the N, P is phosphorus, K is potassium. So lots and lots of nitrogen in this stuff right here. Next year we're going to go with a mixture of this and calcium nitrate, which is a readily breakdownable all organic mineral too, to kind of mix into the soil to help. Fish fertilizer, really good stuff. It's fish emulsion basically. I believe this right here was an 8-pound bag, and you can have that for even a couple years using this out in your garden. I'll show you guys how we use that in just a second. The fish fertilizer here was about, I think this was $6 for an 8-pound bag from Walmart, and this was about $10, but they can run $10 to $15 on these larger bottles. This is the Alaska brand. I know that there's I believe Neptune maybe, or Poseidon or something. There's another kind of brand that's named after one of the Greek or the Greek gods, I believe. But this is 511. This stuff really, if you know anything about fertilizers and stuff, a lot of people will use cow manure and they'll mix that with their soil in their yard, but it's really acidic. So as far as, you know what I mean, tilling it in and mixing it with your natural soil, it can help bring some readily available minerals. You also have things that are like people will have rabbits or even chickens, stuff like that, and they'll use the droppings from the chickens or the rabbits because it's either even less acidic than, say, cattle fertilizer or anything like that. And then you got worm castings, which we use. We have a local homesteader in our area that sells at the farm market some worm castings. We like to get those because they already have some worms in it, and it kind of adds worms to the yard. But worm castings is a really good one too, because it's really low acidic, even lower than a lot of the others, and it also is even more broken down and readily available to the plants. This here fish fertilizer is an excellent one. Whenever we use Epsom salt or fish fertilizer in the yard, within a day or two we almost always see results and stuff. So the biggest warning about these two, I would say, is not to over fertilize. You can kind of give an uptick of too much of one thing and over fertilize plants, and it can make them sick that way, but really hard to overuse. For example, the fish fertilizer breaks down really easy. This right here cost us about 10 to 15 bucks. I believe it cost us around 10 plus tax. But it also came from Walmart, and just wanted to show you two of the fertilizers that we use. All right, sometimes when we're using the Epsom salt and it's not necessarily a watering day, or it's a little bit easier, we'll just fill this up with water, put about 2 cups of the Epsom salt in it, and then scoop it out with a cup and pour it around to individual plants. But generally when we're putting the Epsom salt on, we'll just fill this jar with it, take that spoon, go around to each one of our containers and put a full spoonful around, and then we'll wash it in with some water like that. So that's how we use it. We might use 1.5 spoons, 2 spoons for some of these bigger containers, but kind of just get it around there, and then when it's a watering day, we put it directly dry on the soil away from the plant a little bit, and then we just kind of like wash it in so it's all throughout everything. That's what we do when we Epsom salt. When we do the fish emulsion, a good thing that we've been using so far is that stuff can get really stinky, and especially since we're so close, we have neighbors that are, you know, adjacent yards of ours and stuff, so we don't want a huge amount of that smell to get around. So what we'll end up doing is we'll take one of these old cat litter containers that we can throw out. We have tons of these set aside over the years, but we'll take this, fill it full of water. It says it is a 20-pound container. I'm not sure what that is, and it takes a few gallons, I believe, 2 or 3 gallons. But we'll fill this full of water, and then we will take the fish emulsion and we'll put about a 1/4 cup. That stuff is really potent and really strong, but we'll put it into here, kind of seal it up, make sure it's thoroughly mixed. And then we take this we got from the dollar store. This is just a pool toy. And then we can go ahead and get it in where the fish emulsion is and water, pull a little bit of it up, kind of keep the smell going, and then we will put that around near the plant. And then when we go in afterwards, we water that in. We just don't water it in too much, so it's actually kind of draining the nutrients straight through or too deep. So we'll take about a 1/4 to 1/2 cup of fish emulsion for a couple gallons. It is kind of thick that way. I wouldn't suggest necessarily pouring it on the soil, especially if you got neighbors or maybe neighborhood cats that are going to come into your yard. That fish fert will really drive them wild and bring them. So we'll just pull it out of there, put it on the soil, and then water it in. So that's what we do with our Epsom salt and fish emulsion in August and September, alternating on weekends, and it's been really successful for us. We love you guys, and we'll catch you next time.